ice-tea mountains cold.
Is this that Hobbit shit?
Do you hear that? Welcome to that Hobbit shit. I'm Corey.
And I'm Mike.
Hey, Mike. Here we are at last. What are we up to today?
We are talking about episode 8. It's over.
Is that proto meme like overused? I was really thinking about putting that on our Instagram.
No, it's not.
Especially when something's over. It's perfectly appropriate. Okay, let's first things first. Let's go to the Green Dragon Inn.
But the only food for the brave and true comes from the Green Dragon.
What beer have you selected for today's final ordeal, Mike?
Corey, I've chosen the perfect beer.
Okay.
It's from Howl Brewing. I have a Blue Cumber Mint Ale, a refreshing summer ale made with blueberry, cucumber, and mint.
Okay, I'm skeptical.
It goes down about as well as that episode.
So you're gonna be glad to see the bottom of the can.
It's weird for sure. It was the weirdest
imagine.
beer I found when we started watching this.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good one actually. Yeah, I bet when you found that you were just so pleased.
Yeah, I had to put a couple down. Hey Corey, what are you
Yeah.
drinking? aside from the blood of your enemies.
Well, like, it's a very spooky beer. This is my ultimate achievement this season in finding weird beers. I was trying to follow your lead. It is called Tales from the Patch, Mike.
Ooh,
And I bet you can guess it's a pumpkin porter.
pumpkin porter. What's it like?
You know what? I don't like it. I was looking at a pecan pie beer and also this pumpkin pie beer. It's pretty heavy on the like, I don't know. I think it must be allspice.
Yeah.
Don't maybe if I was eating something with this, it would be better. But yeah, I don't know. On its own, it's a bit much. Yeah, the like pumpkin pie spice is too strong.
Oh no.
But the can glows in the dark, which is cool because just like the Rings of Power, it is all style and no substance.
Forever ago, I had a Sasquatch chocolate porter of some kind, and the Sasquatch glowed in the dark.
Was the beer any good?
It was really good. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice.
I've never
Yeah,
been
I
able
feel
to
like.
find it again. It was like a hot chocolate porter.
Oh, wow, interesting. That sounds pretty good. Oh, you could never find it again. It's like a Sasquatch. I get it.
Yeah, that's probably what. That's what they did.
Yeah, that's what they meant.
And no one will believe me it existed. So should we head into the episode, Corey? Oh,
Yes.
yeah, you don't like the beer. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. I'll drink it though.
I bet mine's-
Yeah, let's go to the episode.
I bet you mine's worse.
This is going well so far.
It's not good, Corey. The mixture of mint, cucumber, and blueberries just isn't landing.
Yeah, I mean that's like maybe an okay combination outside of a beer, but
Anyway, episode 8. Corey, before the opening title card rolls,
yes.
we see King Durin, and he's killed a bunch of dwarves.
He's
They were in the
he
way
also
of his.
severely attacked his daughter-in-law, but whatever.
He did that too.
Yeah.
They were all in the way of his digging, so he gets to digging. Prince Durin shows up and begs him to stop and take the ring off. He says no. He breaks the wall, and exactly what we thought would happen happens. He wakes up the Balrog, who is very angry.
Oh yeah.
King Durin does a jumping axe swing at him, which doesn't do anything except the impact of the axe against the whip seems to collapse a passageway, and I think that puts the Balrog back to sleep. Over in is it the Stewars?
Yes, it is
Okay.
the Stewars.
Over in Stewerland, Gandalf confronts the Dark Wizard, Oh, sorry. I have Gandalf confronts the Dark Wizard in the Dirty Hobbit village. I should have had Dirty Stewer village. Um,
Yeah, Mike, come on.
the the Dark Wizard is playing some sort of a game. Um, he the triple crosses Gandalf, and then when Gandalf won't join him, he explodes the Hobbit town and walks away.
Yep.
Then Numenor. Oh God, it's been days since I watched this episode, and it's all coming back to me. In Numenor, Farazan brings up some forged documents that prove the queen is a traitor. It somehow works.
Yeah, that's one of my notes. We'll get to that.
The faithful are being rounded up. They don't start with the queen somehow.
The closest one of the faithful, because she's probably in the palace.
In the palace, who's the current leader. She has time to give Narsil to Elendil, and he rides away and does an Aragorn-ish raise the sword kind of dealio.
He sure does.
Speaking of jerks, the orcs are sacking Eregion. Galadriel is leading a handful of elves away, and she gets caught with them. She offers the orcs the rings in exchange for the 5 or 6 elves she's leading. Meanwhile,
is there any reason why they shouldn't just kill her and take the rings?
Yeah, or like she didn't run.
Yeah, and like, yeah, why is she leading women and children out of the city when she's supposed to be escaping with the rings?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I shouldn't interrupt.
I don't know, Corey. I don't know. Celebrimbor is being used as target practice. Sauron is really mad, and he kills him.
He sure does.
Just as some orcs show up, and off screen they have some sort of a conversation. Isildur still exists.
Oh yeah, hey, there he is.
He's packing for some sort of a trip, and that woman who he maybe had some sort of a I don't know, fleeting relationship with, comes to visit him and say goodbye, and tells him she's not really that into her fiance anymore. Isildur's into her, and nobody cares. As they're leaving, Kevin and some dirty Numenorians show up to the shanty town, and they make a bunch of threats to the low men, as they call them. And I can't tell.
Did you say Kevin?
Kevin, yeah.
Is that his name?
I think it's Kaveen or something. I don't.
Oh, okay. Either way, actually, I honestly don't know that character's name.
He wasn't important until 3 episodes ago.
Jesus.
So at this point, I'm not clear on. They said no low men on the ships back to Numenor.
Yeah.
They also told Isildur his father was a traitor in the same sentence, which kind of implied that he's a low man as well. But he's on the ship later, so I think he's not a low man.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. It feels so painful to even get into this.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Galadriel is taken to Adar, who has been wearing a ring and healed back into an elf.
Oh yeah.
But the orcs show up and kill him while Galadriel watches. And then Sauron shows up, and Galadriel still watches while Sauron does the ending of Adar. Galadriel's pretty shook, and then she fights Sauron in one of the worst fights ever. But luckily, we cut away from it. Back in Eregion, somehow Gil-galad, Elrond, and I forget his name.
Arondir
survived with no explanation.
With no injuries.
No injuries. The orcs burn Celebrimbor's library. Back to the awful fight with Galadriel and Sauron. He starts shape-shifting into a bunch of things, and we have to agonize through Galadriel fighting herself. Finally, Sauron takes the ring, and Galadriel jumps several hundred feet to the floor below.
Oh no, he doesn't get the ring. She jumps with the ring.
Oh, she jumps with her ring. he
Yeah.
grabs the 9 rings of men from her.
Oh yeah, right.
But the dwarves show up before he can jump down behind her or get the ring from her. And they lead a charge and save the city.
Mike, did you notice that they were using dwarven wind lances?
No, I didn't notice that.
Hmm.
I did not. Elrond puts on one of the rings he hates so much to help save Galadriel, who fell to her death. The hobbits are digging out of the rubble, or sorry, the stewards are digging out of the rubble. And one of them finds a stick and hands it to Grand Elf. ... Then we cut to Isildur getting on to one of the Numenorian ships. And this is where it's confirmed he's not a low man. Then back to Gandalf, who gets called Grand Elf to his face several times. And he and Nori have to go separate ways, but we don't find out why. And he picks up that staff, and I think it's his staff, Corey.
It must be.
He
Can't be
goes
anything
and
else.
he goes and visits old Tom Bombadil,
Uh-huh.
and who tells him his name is Gandalf, and that's his staff. And they sing about Tom Bombadil together.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they sing about Tom Bombadil and the wife that he's not met yet, apparently.
Yeah, the River's Daughter. It's a good
Yeah.
song though.
It's better than that version they played over the credits the one day.
Yeah, well, far better. That version's not awful if it had been pushed to like pushed further into the credits, by the way. just as an aside, it's not the worst. It just like it was the worst point to put it in that episode.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's such like a slow, like almost like sad kind of ballad where I feel like he's a weirdo jester.
Yeah, it's the kind of song you'd hear at like the full credits you get. You know how you get like you'll get like the lead up credits and then the whole scroll of everybody involved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when they go through the 900,000 people that worked on the computer animation.
Yeah,
that's when you roll that shit.
Anyhow, Corey, Eregion survivors go on to found Rivendell, maybe.
Oh, I thought maybe it was Lorien.
It could be either.
It probably doesn't matter, but
no, it's one of the two. Well, there was a big waterfall. That's why I thought it was Rivendell.
I thought they said it was north of Casa Doom. That's why I thought it was. Oh no, because I guess the ring is headed south, so maybe Lorien is south of. I suppose I could consult a Tolkien map. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. I apologize.
It won't matter, Corey.
That's true.
They'll move it wherever they need to. Them being the showrunners. Galadriel wakes up in a Frodo kind of way from her evil spike injury. And she makes some declaration, and then Gil-galad repeats it, and all the elves scream. The end.
Oh fuck. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Are they implying that are they I mean, I don't think they thought any of this through, but are they implying that in the Lord of the Rings, when Frodo has to be taken to Rivendell because like only the healing abilities of Lord Elrond can save him, are they implying that it's his elven ring that allows him to heal Frodo? Because that's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen wounds like this before.
Yeah, fuck. Oh man. I'm I was okay, but I think now I'm angry.
Oh, I was never okay with this one. Anything
great summary, Mike. No, I think you've got it. We just really apparently need to pick it apart more than we already have. I think it's time to jump into our notes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start us off with a quick one here, Mike. We touched on this. Arondir is distinctly unstabbed in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adar definitely stabbed him in the last episode.
With a huge sword.
But he's fine. He's just like cutting people down again.
We should have a power rankings for all the characters.
It would be the most inconsistent thing. Yeah. Because like Arondir can kill like an orc at 1,000 paces. Meanwhile, Adar, who can kill Arondir, gets slaughtered by like 5 orcs.
Yeah,
I don't
where
know, man.
I'm sure Arondir could kill 5 orcs,
Yeah, for sure. He's proved it.
but Adar killed him with no problem.
So who has the higher power, right?
Galadriel.
That's a good answer. Okay. I don't know if you have a note about this, but you brought it up, Mike. Can we talk about Galadriel's fucking one-liners during her fight with Sauron?
No, kill yourself, Corey.
That was the stupidest thing. I think that might have been the low point of the whole series.
How about Sauron just knowing she has the 9 rings?
Yeah, like everybody's read the script. Like the characters know way more than they should know.
Yeah.
It's really confusing.
What I'm gonna okay, I got a bunch of negatives, but let's start with the positive. Sauron and Celebrimbor, that whole thing was great until the end. But aside from that, I think
Uh,
I think this whole season that was the highlight, that storyline between those two,
yeah,
and
I think
everything
I would
else
agree.
suffered for it.
Was that the death that you foretold, Mike? That the way that Celebrimbor was supposed to die?
Yeah, except for he's supposed to be used as a banner, but
Oh,
I think he's used in a banner when they march to war, so it might be coming up next season.
oh, that's fucking awful. Oh, wow. Cool.
But
Okay.
Sauron didn't seem as angry with him as he is in the book, so who knows?
Yeah.
He cried. But the part that was awful was, did you catch when Celebrimbor was monologuing in his death and said like the rings hold mastery over you or something?
Yes.
And then he took a breath and said, "You are the Lord of the Rings,"
Yeah. Yeah, that
completely
did.
contradicting what he was talking about.
Yeah, that did not make a ton of sense.
No, they wanted to shoehorn that in so badly.
Uh-huh. 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 Well, it's funny because like say my partner Tiffany, for example, who loves terms like that hobbit shit. Sometimes people like that will often ask the question, who is the Lord of the Rings? And they're often surprised to learn that it is the bad guy. That's all. That's all I have to say about that, I suppose.
As was foretold by Celebrimbor.
Celebrimbor with 100 arrows in him. Okay,
But
all right. Mike, I've never been murdered. I've never died in war or battle or combat, if you will. But this is a measly little nitpick. But if you're stuck with like 100 arrows, if someone comes up to you and then like pulls on one of the arrows, does that really make a fucking difference?
I think it would hurt.
Yeah, but wouldn't you already be in like the most pain?
I don't know because when you're okay, so apparently when you have a lot of pain, if you interrupt that pain with other pain, you can cut it off. So
Okay.
like say you've severed a toe and you pinch your arm somewhere higher up your body, apparently you can cut off the pain communication to your brain.
Okay. I did not know that.
Something I read about. I've never done it. I've never never had reason to.
Patreon.com/that hobbit shit. Join a tier. One of us will cut off a toe. The other
A
one will
toe?
pinch them.
You want a toe, Corey?
I think like not the pinky, the one next to it. I feel like that's a useless toe.
I might have sprained my pinky on the weekend.
Like I can't abide you spraining another toe.
It was quite bruised.
What did you do? Your pinky toe?
Yeah, I was getting out of the shower and I banged it on the bathtub really hard.
Ooh.
And
Oh
everyone was
God.
asleep, so I had to grab a towel and scream into it.
Mike, you were at your most vulnerable.
Yeah, I know. Um,
Wet and naked and in pain.
yeah. Anyhow, Hey Corey, how come the orcs are not allergic to sunlight in this season?
Because Adar loves them. I don't have a fucking clue, Mike. I don't nothing nothing lines up. Nothing makes sense.
Like remember last year, or sorry, last year, how they dug that tunnel completely underground and like moved the dirty towels and everything so they wouldn't be exposed to sun for 1 second.
Yeah, the fucking the filthy orc umbrellas were like was kind of one of the cool things about this version of orcs.
Yeah, and
Um
suddenly it doesn't
yeah.
matter.
Yep, no, it doesn't matter in the least. Especially when the splendid, shining elven army rode to battle in the sunlight. They were fine.
And they sack a city in complete daylight. They kill
Yeah.
Adar in daylight.
Yeah, yeah, they sure do.
Um, they somehow agreed to follow Sauron in daylight.
Well, okay, so about them following Sauron, so there was that one orc, right? That he had a name. If you like look at the Amazon X-ray thing, the character had a name. Uh,
What
Adar's
was it?
like second in command. Oh, I don't know what it
Can we
was.
just say it's Ragshot?
Shatrag.
Shatrag.
You know what? I actually have the episode open. I'm gonna find out for us, Mike. One sec. You give me one. Let's just. Yeah, hang on here. Oh, there he is. There's a scene with him. Fuck yeah. Go here. Oh, is it gonna play an ad? Oh, fuck off. I'm not waiting for that. Okay, I'm closing that tab.
One of
Never
my
mind, Mike.
one of my notes is the Amazon ads are a problem.
Yeah, I mean that's I suppose a whole different conversation, but the fact that like I don't know, it's really weird the full circle going back to just like cable that we're headed towards.
Yeah, I refuse to pay for premium.
No, fuck that. I mean, we're already paying.
Yeah, and my side note is I can finally cancel Amazon Prime. I
Yeah,
watched the
for the
Tragically
next
Hip documentary. I watched the Rings of Power. I can resubscribe in 2 years.
was the hip documentary any good?
Oh, I'd rather talk about that for the next half an hour.
There you have it, folks.
It was really good, Corey.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
Highly recommend.
Uh
I started watching it one day while doing some work, and I watched the other 3 episodes before going to bed at like 1 in the morning.
oh, sweet. Oh yeah, didn't you send me a picture of yourself because you stayed out to watch it?
Yeah, I think
And you
did
were
I
all
like
bedraggled.
yeah, that sounds right.
I've been burned by Amazon, so I was hesitant to watch it.
Well, it's really good. It's worth watching. You'll enjoy it.
Okay, sweet, cool.
I'm watching it
That's
a
good.
second time right now.
Oh, nice. Like right now as we record this.
No, I wish I
It's
was.
okay. I got a note for you here. This doesn't really require much discussion, but in this episode, I really could not figure out if I had forgotten like key plot points from season one. Like we mentioned that once or twice, or if they're honestly just making shit up.
I don't think it matters, but do you have any examples?
I'm pretty sure it was when yeah, it was when little Kevin or whatever rat face guy from Numenor showed up in Middle Earth, which was crazy because like a couple of minutes before that he was in Numenor.
Yeah.
Like he got to Middle Earth really quickly. Um and he was talking to the low men and they were like, "Oh, we had a deal." And I was like, "What fucking deal? When the hell did that happen?"
I don't remember there being a deal for tributes or something for trees.
Yeah, I
Uh,
thought Numenor essentially retreated.
uh,
Like not like, oh, we'll be back to like conquer Middle Earth. They lost to Adar in the
yeah,
war.
yeah. I feel like a lot of stuff was cut out of this show.
That's
Like,
very possible.
like there's another 10 hours. um, because a lot of stuff just does not make sense.
It definitely, absolutely does not make sense. I agree with you there. And
Uh,
like yeah, it seems like it had some sort of buildup, but like you're just like, I don't think I saw that.
yeah. Also Isildur and the kid, what's the kid's name?
Theo.
Nori? Theo, right.
Nori, that's that Nori's
I know.
the Hobbit.
Uh, like the last time we saw them, they were running with Elf Boy,
Yeah.
and they just forgot about them for 4 episodes, and suddenly Isildur is packing his bags. I think we're supposed to somehow know that the Numenorians are coming for a visit, and he's going to hitch a ride with them.
Yeah, and how are we supposed to know that? Because as far as we know, he's just been abandoned.
Yeah,
He has
yeah.
no reason to think they're coming back.
He apparently he knows somehow,
They all do, I guess.
but did they give them a date? Did they, or or like and like that date didn't change based on the multiple changes in leadership in Numenor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's very confusing.
so we have to assume a messenger came and let them know that there was going to be, I guess, the Numenorians were coming. But the
Mike,
messenger wasn't willing to bring back a message that Isildur had survived.
yeah, no shit. That's a good fucking point. Yeah. Yeah, the Numenor plot line is so fucking muddy.
It,
Um,
it's absurd. I think what they should have done is had a season just for the Sauron and Celebrimbor stuff and everything happening in Middle Earth, and then had a separate season for Numenor.
I think I would completely agree with you on that. Because like, yeah, because they're really not doing all these plot lines justice because there are too many plot lines.
Yeah,
Um,
and like you have to assume a lot, and a lot of stuff like Sauron converting the orcs to his cause happens off screen, and it
yeah.
like everything else, everything leading up to that tells us that it should be a big deal for them to switch sides again.
Yeah, exactly. And they've been trying to sort of vaguely make the orcs like sympathetic. And then the one orc that you actually get, like, I don't know, you see him with like his wife and his kid, and then he's just really unceremoniously murdered by Sauron.
And the orcs don't second guess their choice.
Yeah, they're just like, oh shit, we better fall in line. Like, what? They've yeah, I don't know. There's so much buildup, and like zero payoff, or like the payoff makes no sense.
Yeah.
And like
uh
the death of Adar, I would generally say I kind of liked that they killed him the same way that like Sauron was sort of half killed. That was cool, but like if that was the result of this entire season, that is the dumbest thing. Like what a waste of time.
it just they didn't handle it well, and he was
No.
also stabbed about a dozen times too many.
Yeah, yeah.
It went on forever.
Well, Mike, his power level is off the charts. What do you
Quite
register?
high, yeah.
It's over 9,000.
They stabbed him so many times. Like how many would you guess? 25?
Oh, at least, yeah. I think his stabbing scene may have been longer than the Sauron stabbing
it,
scene.
it was a lot. And then somehow the final stab was enough to kill him, but like he'd already been stabbed dozens of times. It made no sense. And I thought like, okay, the last blow is going to be them cutting his head off or something, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that would have made sense. Something a little different.
Yeah, but it was also completely unnecessary.
Sorry about that. I was trying to get a fly. Yeah, yeah, absolutely unnecessary. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, everything that should have been like a slow burn happened in like 2 seconds, and everything that should have happened in like 2 seconds took the whole 8 hours.
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Did you catch Elrond assuming a random dwarf was Durin?
Yeah.
He just like pointed at one.
I laughed really hard at that 'cause I was like, is Elrond a racist? Like, what the fuck?
But
And like,
like,
why would he think? And it was Narvi too. It was another dwarf that actually had a name.
yeah, it just
And
happened. But like, it could have been like, hey, where's Durin or something, you know? Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Or at least a dwarf that looks like him, like maybe like another red bearded dwarf.
yeah.
Fuck. Did make
Just-
me laugh though.
Yeah, one random dwarf. Um, okay, for real, what happened to the Balrog?
I have a pretty long note about the Balrog, so we might have to pick this back up again in a second. The Balrog holds the most, I think, ridiculous like video game logic to it. Like he's like a boss. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you get to an area in a video game and you know there's a boss behind a certain door because like it's the only room you haven't been in and like the music stops when you get close to it.
Yeah,
But like he's only behind the door because it's a video game. Like if it wasn't a video game, he'd just open the door and kill you.
yeah, especially with like being woken up multiple times.
Yeah, or and being a Balrog, which is
Yeah,
one of the like most powerful worst things in Middle Earth. Like
and, and then he goes back underground. Like, what the
yeah.
hell?
Yeah, why is he so crappy at being a Balrog?
And how come the dwarves are like, well, we probably won't see him again.
Yeah, good thing that passage is closed up. An ancient evil's down there, but it's okay. A couple of rocks ought to hold him.
Uh, how the hell are they going to handle that next season? Because, like, by all rights, new King Durin is he should be like, okay, we gotta go.
Yeah, we should get out of here, or like, excuse me. I guess it's like you either got to leave Khazad-dûm or you need to like lead an army to like deal with a Balrog.
Yeah, maybe that's what's going to happen.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. So, speaking of Balrogs, this is kind of I didn't actually write this down, but you know who would have been a really good character to add to this series, but they didn't do it.
The Rock.
Yes, I don't disagree with you there. I was gonna say Glorfindel.
Right.
Like I said, like I mentioned last time, Arondir is possibly one of the best characters, but like why not just like make it say Glorfindel, who like was someone they never explored in the movies and is a really important guy. He died fighting a Balrog, like killing a Balrog. Like
Right.
he was an elven prince from a house of kings or whatever.
I wonder if Amazon didn't have rights to his name. I read that I haven't researched this in full. We have 1 minute. I'll cover it. That Amazon only got rights to Gandalf recently.
Yeah, I remember when they during the first season there was a lot about like there were so many things they didn't have the rights to. I think Anatar was one of them.
Oh, so they've just like picked stuff up, which explains Gandalf.
Yeah. Any more
Yeah.
you want to say about the Balrog?
Why did it look exactly the same as Lord of the Rings?
You know what? Excuse me. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today. Because he was reading some things online. Because apparently there's a big kerfuffle about how the troll looked. Because a lot of people were into it, a lot of people were against it. Because it looks different than the movies. And the interesting thing is, it didn't even occur to me that like, the troll looks so different, but the Balrog looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
That's it's such a I don't know. Like I was gonna say it's a weird choice, but it's like everything's a weird choice. Like I feel like none of it was really thought through. But
not cohesive.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like you could argue that it's a different type of troll, and there are different trolls
Yes.
in The Hobbit as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, but I don't know. I guess it's like when we were talking about the orcs and their little orc umbrellas in the first season. I was looking forward to this series not necessarily trying to like shoehorn itself into the Peter Jackson trilogy. I thought it would be like a different interpretation of Middle Earth,
Yeah.
which would have been really fucking cool.
Yeah.
But it's not.
So apparently John Howe is involved in the visual design.
Really?
Yeah.
He worked only on the dwarf section because that's why the dwarf section is so cool.
Well, he might have been responsible for the Balrog.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh,
Possibly.
you know what? I bet he was. Yeah, that makes sense.
But man, they could have like the Ents were cool in a different way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, they did do some things a little differently, but it's I guess that it's kind of a summation of the whole thing. It's like they just didn't go all the way with it.
Yeah. And related to that, I really hate the way the elves look. I didn't have a problem with it until this episode specifically.
Yeah, you got a good look at their armor in this
Yeah,
episode. Yeah, I would be interested to watch something like The Hobbit animated from like 77 or whatever that one came out. When elves are just like kind of disgusting looking. Like because
yeah.
they're so weird and non-human.
I wish they had leaned into it that much, or like
Yeah.
if they have to be humanoid, then they kind of should be the tall kind of elves.
Yeah, they're kind of like I don't know, they're almost like fucking gray aliens, you know what I mean? Like they're like an exaggerated humanoid.
Yeah. Um, it's just weird to see them, I don't know, average people.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
They don't seem majestic in this episode, especially when they're like dirty for the whole time.
Yeah. I suppose we should probably try to wrap this up.
Yeah, what else do we have?
Okay, a little quick note for you, Mike. Was Ellendale waiting tables at a tavern?
Uh,
Did you notice that?
yeah, I did notice that, and I didn't know what to say about it.
Like, does he moonlight as a server because being what do they call him in the first season? A petty lord that doesn't pay enough?
Yeah, he was the captain, and then he wasn't the captain, but he should be the captain again. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
odd. Maybe in Numenor, in restaurants, people have to clean up their own dishes.
Because it's they're an advanced society.
Even captains.
Yep, yeah, for sure. Yeah. That makes sense. Everybody should work in service a little bit. Um, okay, I'm really sorry for this, but I need to talk more about Numenor, which is a sore subject, obviously.
Yeah.
And I know this question is a little late, but like, I'm sorry, what exactly is the religion in Numenor that Farazan hates so much?
Um. Okay. It's one of the things that was probably cut out. So there's the people who love elves, and there's the people who hate elves.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. It's just really confusing. Like it seems like it's one of those sort of plot conveniences where they're like the faithful. I'm like, well, the faithful to what? Like it's Numenor. Like they know that the Valar exist in the West and like I don't know. It's confusing to me. Like I don't understand why Farazan is against it. Especially if he believes in fucking eagle blessings and sea monster blessings, but
I don't. Sorry, I don't understand any of that stuff. It's the faithful to the elves and the Valar. I guess the Valar, and then there's the group who are supposed to be growing in power at this point, who are against the Valar and feel like they weren't given enough. They're supposed to start questioning their mortality.
so they're just kind of like pro-human, anti-God. Is that like
Yeah, they want more than has been given to them, and
right?
they're supposed to be so great. They're questioning their mortality. They in the book, they're at this point they're supposed to be wanting to travel to Valar, or like working up the courage to travel to Valar to demand immortality, like the elves
Oh,
have, because the Numenorians weren't they didn't they weren't they started by Elrond's brother? Wasn't he the first Numenorian who like
oh yeah. He decided to be mortal, and Elrond decided to be an elf.
yeah, it
I
was
think.
after recovering one of the Silmarils, I believe.
Yeah.
So they have this thorn in their side about dying after 400 years. And I think that the faithful are like, no, this is what we've won. Let's be happy with it.
Right. Well, you can't just I don't know. You can't just assume that like I mean you and I have read the Silmarillion, but you can't assume that the audience has like
Yeah,
especially when yeah, I don't know.
not just that, but like in so many other ways, they like thumb their noses at the people who have read the books and like really piss them off. But then they assume that people have knowledge of everything going on.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Good way to put it. It's
Yeah,
it's it's very frustrating.
it is. I think Numenor should have been given its entire season of its own, and they could have given it like this Lord of the Rings style like, inner turmoil, and
Yeah,
actually leaned
totally.
into
Yeah.
the politics.
Yeah. And you needed like sweeping shots with like was it is it John Howard? I'm confused because you said John Howe earlier, but
John Howe, is it John Howe?
Yeah, the illustrator. But who's the really famous musician?
Ron Howard.
No, he's that redhead guy.
I know.
He's the one that Elrond thought was Durin.
Right. Ron Howard. I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember.
Well, Howard Shore is
Yeah,
that?
Howard Shore.
Yeah, it needs like sweeping like orchestral like shots of the glory of Numenor, and then like I
Yeah.
don't know, like the feasts of what's his face eating the tomatoes and asking Pippin to sing, like weird stuff like that, like just like decadence, I guess. Well, you bring up a good point, Mike, and I don't want to make this too long-winded. I'm sorry. Uh the bar for like I don't know, I hate the word epic because it's sort of overused, but like the bar for like epic storytelling and like epic fantasy or like that kind of stuff is like is a lot different now than when the Peter Jackson trilogy came out. Like you can't have shit like Shogun, you can't have shit like Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
which is my favorite thing, but it still changed the way that we like think about and look at like fantasy worlds, or like even something like The Witcher. Like
Yeah.
this show is not up to that level.
No, it's not. And I think Game of Thrones is a really good comparison because I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I think they were trying to, but they weren't going the full like I don't know, tits and gore like of Game of Thrones.
yeah, which is fine. I didn't need to see elven tits, although
No, yeah, that is fine. Yeah, but like,
weren't we hoping? Wasn't there? Didn't they
I'm choosing this.
they hired a I don't remember the position. Wasn't it like a oh boy, someone to make sure that on the relationships were all like above board, and we hypothesized there'd be elven orgies. No, nothing.
I remember us talking about elven orgies, and I can't now remember why we thought that would happen.
Like intimacy director or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, now I remember. You're right. Yeah. Wow.
I
Instead,
can't understand why they needed it. Maybe the relationship between Sauron and Celebrimbor.
yeah, I don't know. Well, and true too, because like Sauron has not, according to the lore of the Silmarillion, Sauron has not arrived. I mean, sure, what's his face? Fucking Halbrand was there. I don't know, for 10 minutes, but Sauron hasn't arrived as a prisoner in Numenor and started to corrupt them. Because he's the one that really fucks them up.
Do you think that's when they would need the intimacy coordinator?
I would assume so. I would hope so. Yeah.
He turns it into Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh no, basically, I no, I don't know if you're joking, but yeah, exactly. That was sort of how I pictured it. Like, yeah.
Cool. I don't know what to say to that. Hey Corey, where's Nori going?
I don't know. The Gandalf plotline was the biggest, like, oh man. What did they call sorry?
They should have the Gandalf plotline should have been part of the Numenorian plotline. That should have been a whole season.
Yeah.
And then can you hear all this crinkling in the background?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, I'll figure it out.
I assume it's a baby toy.
Yeah, it's actually my fig bar that she's yeah, they could have expanded on that, and maybe they wouldn't have had to have the Dark Wizard just be like kick a box and be like, okay, I'll see you later. Like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, like how did he show up at the Hobbit village when like he was, yeah, I don't know. There was it was cinematic blue balls, that whole Gandalf plot line.
Like what was his plan? He betrays the mercenaries, and then Gandalf doesn't fall for it, so he brings the whole city down on the hobbits and then just walks away.
Yeah, and this is something that we were talking about, like how stupid it would be if that was actually supposed to be Sauron, and he's proven how fucking evil he is, and yet like in a couple hundred years they're supposed to be like best friends.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's a blue wizard. I think there's probably two evil blue wizards.
It should be a blue wizard now, because otherwise Gandalf is a fucking idiot.
Although I do like the Gandalf character, I just hate the hobbits, and I hate the Blue Wizard right now. If the whole season had just been him hanging out with old Tom Bombadil and the River's Daughter.
I liked Gandalf in the first season. In this season, I think I'm a little sick of him being like shocked at everything. Like,
Yeah, I'm glad he's arrived at something, and like as predictable as him finding his staff was,
yeah,
it was kind of cool that he had to make the right choice to do it. It just they didn't give anything enough time to breathe.
no, definitely not. I was also kind of wondering. I did a brief like sort of review of it earlier today. Uh, does it break the lore that Sauron, if the Dark Wizard is Sauron, which we don't know yet, they're obviously withholding so that we keep watching. But if that is Sauron, does it break the lore that he is aware of hobbits or of halflings for so long and yet doesn't really take them into account?
Yeah, it would or maybe it wouldn't because he underestimates them.
I guess so, yeah. I guess he
Uh,
always just thought they were stupid, but like,
yeah,
but Gandalf was into them for like a couple of thousands of years.
and really into them.
Yeah, really likes hobbits. Yeah.
I have a couple more, but that feels like a great place to end it.
Yeah, I had the same thought actually. I'm out of notes. If you want to go through yours, that is fine with me.
Let's see here if there's anything major. Everything major has been covered.
Oh, okay. Wait, one last thing, Mike. This is a little major. What is that piece of paper that Farazan has that
Um,
proves that the queen is in line with Sauron or something like that? What can it possibly say?
okay. Um, so the most generous the most generous take on it is that they've figured out that Haldir is Saruman or Sauron.
Halbrand, yeah.
Halbrand, yes. Um, and they've gotten word via fax, and they're able to say like, okay, now the queen was in league with Sauron this whole time. Remember that
Right.
Halbrand guy? He was here. Um, they have no way of knowing this,
No.
but I think so. I think Farazan saw it in the Palantir.
Right.
There was
Oh
some.
yeah, that plot line didn't go anywhere either.
No, well, he was peeking in it at the end of the last time they were in an episode.
Yeah.
And I think he saw that Halbrand was Sauron, and I think he probably tapped his head and said, "I remember that guy." And
Oh yeah, that low man that was here.
yeah, that low man, that king of men. But that's the most generous you could like. So they wrote up a declaration, and they had it read on the sly, and people just took it at face value with no proof.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Yeah, they're not very clever in Numenor.
No.
If like a guy just sees like Sauron on a piece of paper and is like,
Yeah. Um, I said to my friend Jeremy, they're the residents of Springfield. They're cartoonish at that level.
that's a good comparison. Yeah, give us hell, Quimby. Oh, that's amazing. Um,
They're going to be installing a monorail next season.
you people don't know what you want. Yeah, I love that. That is also a good note to go out on. But let me leave you with a thought, Mike. And this will haunt your dreams for 18 months until the next season comes out. You remember that stupid fucking old man from the first season? That like when he meets Adar is like, "Aren't you Sauron?"
Yeah.
And he was in the beginning of this season.
He was killed. Yes.
He was killed?
Yeah, he was killed right away.
Was he? Well, how did he get killed?
Um,
Did the
wasn't he-
wolf
what-
eat him that Sauron pissed off?
Okay, wasn't he killed when they were all like bending the knee to Adar?
No, he was in this season. Like he was
Oh.
sort of overseeing Adar's like ruling and branding of men. Like he was
Right.
there when Sauron was captive.
Another fellow was killed. who was from season 1, but not the old man. The old man was like ride or die. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. So well, okay, I don't think he died. I don't think we saw it. So is he gonna get one of the fucking rings? Like,
He has to.
Who's gonna get the rings?
It's gonna be all those guys.
It's just like a bunch of idiots that are hanging around. He's like,
Yeah.
"You're a king of men. You're a king of men. You're a
Yeah.
king of men."
That's the only option now because Theo is probably going to be. I don't know. He's going to go do something great. I'm sure they're not going to waste that character.
I hope not. They
Um,
shouldn't. They've put a lot of work into him.
he's either going to go found Rohan, or he's going to become the Night King or whatever his name is, who lives under the mountain.
Han Buri Han.
I don't know. What is
Oh
his
no,
name?
I know what you mean. Oh, the guy that betrays
Yeah.
that betrays. Yeah, okay, right. Sorry, that betrays Isildur.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I shouldn't have mentioned Han Buri Han.
I don't know. who that
Spoilers.
is. You don't have to tell me.
You don't know who that is?
No.
Okay, well you cut this out, but you know the little weird like mountain people that Rohan meets after the
Oh, right.
mustering?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I think they do some like pretty brutal murder. I think they're like pretty cool in the end. So thank you very much for listening to our review of season 2 of the Rings of POOer. That is the end of the season, the end of episode 8. You can find us on Instagram at That Hobbit Shit. You can find us on Twitter at Hobbit Shit. Patreon.com/That Hobbit Shit to support the show and get some Hobbit Shit merchandise. And you can email us thathobbitshit@gmail.com. And that's it. After this, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program of reading the fucking books. So yeah, thank you for listening. I'm Corey.
And I'm Mike.
And may the pooer on your pooer never pooer.
All out.